Zhuangzi, in his timeless work Yin Ti Wang, once shared a profound observation that remains as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. He said that the mind of a sage is like a mirror. It neither welcomes nor rejects, it reflects without holding back, and therefore, it can overcome all obstacles without being harmed. This imagery invites us to consider a person who lives with true insight, someone who knows how to use their heart like a bright incense, illuminating everything in existence with an objective and honest perspective. To live this way is to see the world without adding or subtracting from reality, without bias, and without being constantly swayed by the volatile waves of love, hate, gain, or loss. In the face of good and evil, beauty and ugliness, the sage simply reflects them silently as they truly are. They do not worry about what is yet to happen, allowing it to trouble their peace, nor do they cling to what has already passed, causing themselves unnecessary pain. Such a mirror-like mind sees and knows everything, yet it does not become attached to anything. In this way, a person can gradually overcome the heavy constraints of external circumstances and the unpredictable vicissitudes of life without suffering inner harm. We must realize that life is essentially a training ground. It is a vast arena where we experience, train, and cultivate ourselves. However, if you allow your mind to become chaotic and cluttered with the debris of daily worries, fatigue and exhaustion will always be the inevitable results. The most practical and profound way to bring yourself back to a state of a clear, balanced present moment is to regularly reorganize your mind. By doing so, you ensure that the energy of both your body and your mind flows freely, allowing your life to function smoothly and in an orderly fashion. This reorganization is perhaps the most meaningful task we can undertake as we embark on another springtime journey in our lives. The message I want to send to you today is an invitation. It is an invitation to return to yourself and sort out the layers of your existence. It is time to cleanse the mirror of your mind on this spring's threshold. As ancient Buddhist scriptures once taught, even conquering 1,000 armies on a battlefield is not equal to the victory of conquering oneself. Conquering oneself is the most glorious achievement because it is the moment the inner self is re-established, balanced, and clear. When this happens, the journey ahead naturally becomes lighter and broader. I wish for you to begin a new chapter defined by inner strength, peace, and stability, so that your mind may find lasting peace, and you may begin the beautiful process of upgrading yourself. To do this, there are 3 specific things you absolutely must rearrange. The first essential step in restoring your internal order is rearranging your physical room. In Zhuangzi's family precepts, it is mentioned right at the beginning that when winter ends and the first signs of change appear, one should get up early and sweep the courtyard. Ancient wisdom held that a clean house and bright, organized surroundings always harbor good fortune and luck for a person. This is not merely because cleanliness creates a pleasant aesthetic. It is because external order is a profound reflection of internal order. Our living space is a direct mirror of our inner selves. Behind a cluttered, messy room, there often lies a mind filled with indecisiveness, conflicting emotions, and blocked energy. Eastern philosophy has always viewed the act of tidying one's environment as the very first step in the journey of self-cultivation. This is because the mind is anchored where the body is situated. To achieve true peace of mind, you must first have a place to properly position your physical body. When you sweep a corner of your room, you are symbolically sweeping away a corner of turmoil in your heart. Wiping dust from a tabletop is akin to wiping away a layer of confusion from your thoughts. When our material possessions are scattered and disorganized, the mind becomes overloaded trying to process the chaos. Modern psychology supports this ancient view. indicating that a tidy environment significantly reduces cognitive stress, increases focus, and improves our overall emotional state. When your eyes no longer have to process visual clutter, your brain naturally conserves energy and transitions into a more clear-headed state. Similarly, when we surround ourselves with too many superfluous things, the mind is more easily disturbed. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said that everything that distracts the mind deserves to be reconsidered, even the most trivial items. This is the core spirit of Stoicism, reminding us to reduce excess, eliminate distractions, and stop letting unnecessary objects occupy our precious attention. People do not suffer from a lack of things, but rather from possessing too many things that they do not truly need. By creating a minimalist space and keeping only the right amount of material possessions, we free up immense mental energy. This gives our minds the space necessary for peace and deep reflection. Furthermore, each time you decide whether to keep or discard an item, you're practicing the vital skill of choosing what is truly necessary for your journey. You're training yourself to decide which thoughts to keep, which emotions to let go of, and which worries are no longer worth carrying. Regularly rearranging your room is a spiritual ritual. When your living space is uncluttered, your mind finally has room to rest, and from that rest, clarity begins to return to you. The second thing you must organize is your health. If your room is the external space of your life, then your body is the closest home to your mind. To achieve a calm and clear mind, the body must first be realigned and brought into harmony with its own natural rhythm. Often, we mistakenly believe we are overwhelmed by life's troubles, our complex emotions, or our racing thoughts. But we forget that our body is simply tired and is silently sending out distress signals. Your body is crying out, "I need you to reorganize me." We must remember that the body and mind are inseparable. When our physical vessel is properly nourished and cared for, our inner self naturally finds a place to rest. The I Ching states that movement and stillness combine to create harmony. Movement is absolute eternity, while stillness is relative transience. Life always exists within the delicate balance of this combined movement. Reorganizing your body means resetting the rhythm of movement and stillness for your long-term health. You need to know when it is time to move to allow your energy to flow, and when it is time to stop and allow your body and mind to be restored. You must listen to your body's own unique rhythm. Do not force yourself to follow a rigid or punishing exercise routine that leaves you feeling more drained than before, but do not indulge in total stagnation either. A lack of exercise causes energy to become stagnant and blood circulation to become blocked, which over time leads to illness. Conversely, a body that never rests will eventually be depleted of its vital energy, leading to total exhaustion. The appropriate level is found in maintaining a regular but not extreme rhythm of physical activity. Alongside this activity, you must prioritize stillness. Sufficient and deep sleep is your essential regeneration station. It is during sleep that the nervous system is regulated, emotions are processed and released, and the brain is cleansed of the accumulated overload of the day. If it has been a long time since you prioritized your bedtime, if you find yourself staying up an extra hour or two for unnecessary digital distractions, or if you're trading your precious sleep for more money or titles, you're silently draining your own life force. This is a type of capital that is not easily replenished once it is gone. Organizing your health starts with a decisive decision. Go to bed a little earlier. Turn off the screens and put aside your work sooner. When sleep is properly managed, your inner life truly finds its order. Without it, the mind becomes easily agitated and your inner strength erodes without you even realizing it. Furthermore, you must balance your daily routines regarding nutrition. We must remember that eating is for nourishing the body, not for filling emotional voids or chasing temporary gratification. Eating consciously and consuming what makes the body feel light and clean is one of the highest forms of self-love. When the body is not burdened with the task of processing excessive or toxic food, the mind becomes less heavy and sluggish. Rearranging your health is the process of consciously cultivating your ability to take care of yourself. Over time, you will find that at the same age, some people are overweight and struggling to breathe, while others remain upright and full of energy. Some people eat well and sleep well, enjoying each day with leisure, while others find themselves frequently visiting the hospital. The difference between intentionally and unintentionally arranging one's health is the difference of a lifetime. It is a familiar saying for a reason. Health is the number one. Wealth, career, and status are just the zeros that follow. Without that number one, all the zeros in the world equal nothing. Hopefully, for the rest of your life, you can balance these rhythms of activity and stillness. When the body has a firm foundation, the mind can easily deepen its wisdom. When the roots are firm, all life storms are just sounds passing by. The third and final thing you must arrange is your inner energy. The Tao Te Ching tells us that the 5 colors blind the eyes, the 5 sounds deafen the ears, and the 5 flavors numb the tongue. But what does this really mean for us today? The 5 colors refer to the spectrum of visual stimuli. The 5 sounds are the various tones and noises, and the 5 flavors include all the tastes we crave. The word sharp in this context refers to damage, emphasizing that prolonged immersion in intense sights, sounds, and tastes will eventually diminish the sensitivity of our senses. The profound meaning of this teaching is not to deny the beauty of the world, but to warn us about the danger of excess and overstimulation. In our modern world, we are constantly bombarded by dense, high-speed, and high-contrast images on our screens. We become so accustomed to this intensity that we lose our ability to perceive subtlety. Things that are true, deep, light, or quiet become insufficient to hold our attention. When we are constantly immersed in noise, fragmented information, endless arguments, and the unfair judgments of others, we can no longer hear the very small, still voice within ourselves. At this point, our intuition weakens, and it becomes nearly impossible to truly listen to anyone else. When our sense of taste is excessively indulged with food that is too sweet, too spicy, or too fatty, the body loses its ability to recognize its true nutritional needs. We end up eating for the sake of stimulation rather than health. This is when internal resistance forms. In reality, most of the resistance you feel in your life does not come from external obstacles, but from within yourself. It comes from chasing after sensory pleasures and from having insatiable desires and demands. You find yourself being dragged along by your impulses instead of moving forward with intention. You might think you're actively choosing your path, but in fact, you're passively accepting whatever stimulation comes your way. You think you're moving forward, but you're actually depleting your energy reserves. Because your energy is dispersed among immediate desires and short-term stimulations, your long-term goals and your sense of purpose gradually drift away. This leads to a cycle of boredom, heaviness, and fatigue that repeats day after day. To overcome this internal resistance, you must moderate excessive stimulation. Create space for your perception to return to its natural subtlety. Just as a bird's call becomes clearer in the quiet of the night, your own inner wisdom becomes clearer when the noise of the world is turned down. Think of a wine taster who rinses his mouth with water to remove any lingering flavors before tasting a new vintage. A sense of internal tranquility allows you to grasp even the smallest nuances of life. Subtlety blossoms in space and silence, not in explosive intensity. You must recognize that today's social media operates on a mechanism of constant stimulus. The more emotionally charged or shocking a piece of content is, the more it is amplified. This means that most of the information you see is not the most valuable, but simply the most reactive. Without actively filtering your consumption and choosing in-depth content over fast-paced distractions, you will find yourself thinking through other people's emotions. You will feel anger fueled by headlines and anxiety driven by clicks. By constantly numbing yourself with instant gratification, you gradually lose the ability to think independently, and you fall into the trap of constantly comparing your life to others. To moderate this, the best approach is to limit the time you spend consuming information that excites the senses. Between every viewing, you need a break. Between every reaction, you need to consciously take a breath. Between every desire, you need to ask yourself, is this nourishing me, or is it just making me addicted? To truly overcome internal resistance, you must also proactively reclaim your attention. Attention is the most precious unit of your inner energy. Each time it is scattered, your energy is depleted. Digital life easily fragments your attention into a million pieces, and the consequences are not just fatigue, but a total loss of depth in your awareness. The way to gather that inner strength back is to focus on one thing for a full, uninterrupted period of time. Train your ability to concentrate through deep reading, writing, meditation, and mindful physical exercise. Finally, you must manage your desires. Some people have everything they need but keep demanding more: a bigger house, a better car, more money, or greater fame. These things, when pursued without moderation and balance, inevitably become a disaster. Moderating stimulation, maintaining a calm and conscious attention, and knowing contentment are the ways to live in accordance with the Tao. This is how your inner strength grows stronger and your path becomes brighter. As the ancients said, it is better to let go than to be dragged. We must learn to embrace the chaos by organizing it. 100 years of life is a constant process of gain and loss, and we must constantly reorganize ourselves to stay balanced. Organize your home. Discard what should be discarded and tidy what should be tidied. A spacious, airy environment will help clear your mind, and your inner life will gradually become more enlightened. Organize your health. Be active when it is time for movement. Be still when it is time for rest, and eat only what serves your body. Balanced and flowing energy will bring you robust health and a solid foundation for your spirit. Finally, reorganize your inner resistance. Let go of the need for control, reduce unnecessary stimulation, and focus completely on each meaningful experience. All of this helps you gather your inner strength, clarify your direction, and make each step you take lighter and more certain. May we all grow stronger in our remaining days, living as simple, profound, and wise individuals. Let us be free from the burden of the past and unconcerned about the future. Stop holding your head in worry and start taking that first step toward a more peaceful and enlightened existence. The more you live with these principles of organization and self-awareness, the more you will find that life becomes a series of gentle and balanced enjoyments. This video is our way of greeting you and sending you much love and sincere companionship on your journey. We are here to support you as you cleanse your mirror and rediscover the brilliance that has always been inside you. Thank you so deeply for listening to today's message and for being a part of this exploration of the soul. If you found these reflections helpful, or if they provided you with a sense of clarity, Please take a moment to share this video with others who might be looking for a way to reorganize their own lives. We believe that true change happens when we support each other in our growth. If you want to continue discovering the wisdom hidden in the world's most influential books and join our community of seekers, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel reach more people who need to hear this. Most importantly, don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We release new, in-depth summaries and personal development guides every single week, and we want you to be a part of every step we take together. Your support allows us to keep creating content that inspires and transforms. Thank you again for your time, your attention, and your commitment to becoming a better version of yourself. I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Until then, stay peaceful, stay organized, and keep growing. Goodbye for now.